Welcome back, YouTube. Welcome back, squad, to the #1 direct marketing and sales training fundamentals channel out there. Get your notebook, right? And just a friendly PSA to everybody out there. Make sure you got a big notebook, right? So you get big results, which translates to a big bank account, all right? So today we're going to do a deep dive into the 8 steps to success. We're just going to do them one at a time here per video. So we'll be getting these up over the next couple weeks. Today we're just starting #1. This is called 8 Steps to Success Deep Dive. #1, positive attitude. Like we covered before, business and sales is 10% ability and 90% attitude. I'll just tell you a quick personal story that happened recently in the last 8 months, 6 to 8 months. At the position I'm at, I'm a territory manager, right? And for sales and marketing, and we lost a big partnership, like nationwide, right? And we had to adapt. We had to make changes very quickly. And I saw a lot of people complain, a lot of people cry, let's just be real. A lot of people weren't not ready for massive changes to be basically dumped on us overnight, right? I, however, have been through a couple of these myself, and I've seen this happen many times. And maybe 10 years ago when I was brand new as a manager, yeah, it might have messed with me a little bit, but what we did, we just went to work. We worked with what we had, we maximized what we had, and everything turned out great. We actually didn't even miss one sale for that entire transitional period. So it starts with your attitude. It starts about, okay, things are going to go wrong. Guess what? Welcome to life. Welcome to the universe, right? This is how things work, all right? So when things go wrong, you got a choice. It's your perception of how things can be handled. Is this external factor that's outside of your control going to determine your personal success, right? Or are you going to look inside, find a solution, and make it happen irregardless, I don't think that's a real word, but irregardless of what happens in the external world, all right? So let me just kind of explain this with a picture. Now, I'm not great at drawing, so take it easy on me. So this is called the baseline, right? We'll just say like neutral right here. And then we're going to introduce the universe into the baseline here, right? So here's the universe. These are your external factors. These are things that are outside of your control, all right? Sometimes things are really freaking good. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes things are phenomenal. Sometimes things are great. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes things are really going your way. Sometimes they're not, all right? Neutral means there's nothing added to the system yet, all right? So now we got to add our attitude, all right? So what is your neutral? What's your attitude? You're like not neutral, but what is your attitude like normally, right? Like where's your head at, right? Are you like most people out there that are consumed with negativity and love to play around in the mud, right? That's your baseline. Right there. That's a negative mindset baseline. Are you someone that's delusional like myself, that stays positive no matter what, right? When things go wrong, it's just like, okay, well, whatever. I still got work to do. I still got bills to pay. I still got things to do. I still got big goals. No matter what, I know this is just temporary. This is just a situation. I know how the universe works. I've been doing this a while. It's going to be up. It's going to be down. I can't control that. So I'm going to stay at my baseline, right? All right, so that's the terrible drawing I got for you. Now, as the universe progresses, right, as things unfold throughout time, you bought a new house, you had a baby, you made a freaking 100 sales, right? You lose a partnership, got in somebody you know, or you got in a car crash. You know, bad things happen. It's reality, right? And this is what I call the scary place to be, right? So we'll just draw that out, right? That's the red zone, right? And if your baseline is like right above the red zone, what happens when things go wrong? You know, because they will. It's not like everything's gonna go right all the freaking time, right? We want it to, but you don't get what you want, right? So what happens when what happens is everybody is affected. Even if you're really positive, everybody's affected by negative outcomes or positive outcomes, right? You can say you're like, unless you're like some kind of Buddhist monk or something, you're completely detached from emotion or whatever. Everyone is going to be effective in one way or another. So if your baseline is close to the panic, the freak out zone, the everything boohoo zone, right? Something goes, the littlest thing, you stub your toe or something, who knows what, the littlest shit is going to drive you down into this, right? That's where you're going to end up. Pretty quick, right? You might be a little bit higher. It might take more than like stubbing your toe or something, but you're going to drop down into the woe is me, the whole world's against me, nothing ever works out for me kind of mindset, right? And then let's flip it. That's your baseline. You're a negative person. You're just a person, negative bank account. You're a negative person. Guess what? When I started, I was kind of that person too, right? It's okay. We were all programmed like this. There is hope. You can change it. What happens when you go up? Right? Well, I think I picked the wrong one there. So when things are up and you go up, from that baseline that's under the neutral, here, well, now you're raised up. And what are you raised up to? You're raised up to a neutral point, maybe slightly higher than neutral. You're a little confetti or something. But this is not a place you want to be, because when things are going right, your like end zone is going to be somewhere like here, right? And when things go wrong, you're in the dead zone, right? That's why it's red, right? So let's look at the flip side now, right? We understand being in a negative attitude, being in a consistent woe is me type attitude, no matter how good things get, you're not even that excited about it because you're way down here just to start, right? And if the littlest thing goes wrong, it's over, it's done, it's like dot, shut down, right? Then we have the happy place, right? As Happy Gilmore says, right? What's your happy place, right? And your baseline is not like, again, unless you're like some like really awesome mind master or something, you're not going to be permanently in the happy place, right? So you're somewhere right below that line, right? So when things go down, when things go wrong, when big things like mess up, guess what happens? Where do you end up? You come down to neutral. You come down to still a stable. You might go a little bit lower, you know. We're not all invincible, right? Not yet, right? But you go down, maybe you start falling down below the baseline a little bit, right? But you're not going into the red zone. You're not going into the shutdown mode. You're not going into the, you know, the red zone, right? And guess what happens when things go your way? What happens when, you know, things work out? You go to the happy place. You go to the happy place because your baseline is right below the happy place, right? So the reason I draw this is because people are visual, right? This really helped me understand this because I like to know things. Like the way I was originally trained was step one, And then I was like, why does that, what does that mean? Why does that work? And they told me, have blind faith, right? So if that's enough for you, and it was enough for me in the beginning, just stick to that. Just have blind faith. Positive attitude is going to be the number one step to success. But if you like need to know the why a little bit, well, understand what, this baseline is no human emotion, no human attitude introduced into the system, right? It's just the universe exists as is, right? It's going to have ups and it's going to have downs. But then when you start getting these attitudes added in, right? Attitude, positive attitude, negative attitude, when these start getting added into the system, and then the system just continues as it does because it doesn't care what your attitude is because the universe is just going to keep doing the universe thing, right? Up and down as it goes, right? Well, this is what's really happening. This is really what's happening when things go up and things go down, right? So when I say positive attitude in business and sales is 10% ability and 90% attitude, I am saying that from a place of, I have seen it. I have been on both sides of this. I've moved from where I was here. I was probably a little bit down. I was probably living in the red zone for a while, but as my baseline, right? But over time, and I learned how the system works, and I learned how sales works, and I learned how energy works, just when you're talking to people and you're transferring that positivity to people. Because people are going to start mirroring what you do, and you're going to mirror what they do, right? So if you're good at what we're doing here, right, what sales and direct marketing, you're going to be able to meet them at a little bit above their level. Maybe you can meet someone a little bit above their negative attitude and start raising them up and showing them, hey, there's a brighter side to life, right? So that concludes our deep dive into positive attitude. Of course, I could sit here and talk about positivity and the power of positivity and all that, but go watch a Tony Robbins video for the 50-minute video on the power of positivity. But just know it works, all right? It works. So thank you so much, YouTube. Appreciate you stopping by. Remember, sales, business, success is just a bunch of little things put together.